Oh, mate.
Hello.
Just put those down behind you there or something for a minute.
No, don't put them in front of me.
Oh, I can see her moving. Oh, I'll not do that again.
No.
Sorry, man. Have you got a mic? You do? It's on you?
Yeah.
Colie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Collie Ennis, and I am a research associate with Trinity College Zoology Department. I'm also a science officer for the Herpetological Society of Ireland, which basically is the NGO that looks after the least attractive creatures on our little island, like the frogs and the newts and the lizards, the stuff that people don't like so much. So we're their voice, and I run a podcast called The Critter Shed. So and we're kind of, again, trying to promote love of the less loved animals of this world and get people passionate about them and get them out there digging ponds and making little environments for these small creatures.
So the Critter Shed is actually a place? There is an actual Critter Shed, or is it just a podcast?
There is a shed in my back garden to keep my marriage intact. I have a shed for all my creatures that I have.
Mrs. Critter is here tonight as
She's
well.
down the back. My very understanding and long-suffering wife. So we have a shed for all the animals to live in, which is temperature control for each individual animal. A lot of them are rescues from the recession that happened. So everybody went out and bought a snake or bought a tarantula or bought something cool when we all had money and were a bit silly. And then a lot of people had to emigrate because they lost their job, and I ended up with being kind of Noah's Ark for these little creatures. So yeah, that's how the island.
You read, that's a little Noah's Ark. It's an incredible place. I have had the pleasure. And actually it was beautiful. There's a member of staff here whose kids, Colie is their #1 hero in the world at the minute. And so whenever they knew that he was working in Trinity, and then this member of staff found out that Colie and I were mates, and the second that I said to Colie, can I bring some adoring fans who are children to come and be in the shed, he didn't hesitate to say yes, and they had the time of their life. The Critter Shed is an incredible place. In a minute. That hasn't always been happy with the shed, though, Colie?
No.
I remember being away a few years ago and seeing some really horrible news.
Yeah, 5 years ago we had a fire and we lost 90% of my animals. Some creatures that I've had since I was a kid, 20 years or so, and it was heartbreaking, and kind of, I thought that was the end of the road, really. But
so what happened?
My friends behind my back rallied round and gave me a big, massive donation, and I rebuilt the whole thing from scratch, and we're back bigger and better and stronger than ever. So it was just an amazing moment that people actually cared that much to help me out and to help me continue to do something I love, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's and their generosity in seeing you and helping you through that has continued into the generosity that you're able to show to this world and to the critters of this world.
Yeah, so like, I mean, that's what I do now. Like, I feel like it kind of sorted me out in the fact that I was half arsenic, and now I'm full arsenic. So so I do a lot of talks in schools, especially the poorer schools that don't have access to people to come in and talk or give them advice on biodiversity on their grounds and stuff. So I go out and I try and help them out and give them a dig out, and I think it's my way of saying thank you for the opportunity to do this kind of cool stuff.
So you've got a cup. I'm going to ask you to bring out the fat one first.
Yeah.
Then I said, just wait a wee second.
Okay.
I'm just still getting myself built up. But why is this important? You know, because the podcast went to like #1 nature podcast in the States a few weeks ago, didn't it?
Yeah, we're #1 in Ireland.
Like this
England,
this is serious stuff. Why does it matter?
It's our, on a moral basis, it's our duty to take care of this planet. And if we don't step up to the plate now and really, you know, pull our socks up and start doing it, what's the point, you know? And like, these creatures don't have a voice, and somebody needs to be the voice for them. And we have great champions like my hero David Attenborough and stuff, but sometimes I think, especially like when I go to talk to my mates in the pub, they might find it a bit hoity-toity. So I think the reason why we started the podcast, myself and my producer Colette, is we wanted it to be a conversation. So it is generally a good conversation, and it makes people realize that these animals are important, and without them, on a selfish level, forget a moral level, on a selfish level, we don't get to survive if these creatures disappear. The insects go, we go.
Why?
Because they produce, they're the life support system of this planet. They clean up the poo and the leaves, and they produce, the bees produce pollinate our fruit and our plants, and we just need them.
Do we really need that one, right?
We need everything.
Yeah, yes,
do you remember the game Kerplunk? I don't know if anyone remembers the game Kerplunk, where you pulled straws out of a ball, and you could pull 15 straws, and 1 or 2 marbles will go. But you could pull 1 straw, and everything collapses. Biodiversity is like that. We don't know which animal will disappear, and then everything collapses. That's the game of Kerplunk we're playing. Make sense?
Colie, thank you for being in this world, teaching us that, and for doing the stuff that you're doing. I know that my friends' children think you're a hero, but you're actually a hero to me too, man. What you're doing in your spare time is just, it's amazing to me. So let's get out the star of stage and screen first.
Oh, yeah. So this is actually a celebrity. You're very lucky to have her here. Her fees are astronomical. So this is...
Where's Rachel? Oh, there she is there.
This is Fernando. Fernando is the first amphibian to ever appear on the Abbey stage in Dublin. She was in a play last summer, and she did 5 weeks. No, 5 nights, yeah. And Fernando arrived into Ireland in a bag of lettuce. She was about the size of a postage stamp, and promptly was collected in the supermarket and brought to Trinity College. And then from Trinity College, ended up living in our living room and eating quite a lot, as you can see. He's a rotund toad who has to exercise now because it's actually too fat, but there you go.
What sort of toad again? I missed that bit because I was just
toad.
amazingly
toad.
amazed by the... That is not what I thought a toad would feel like.
Yeah, they're very dry compared to frogs. And you can see toads, you can tell they're a toad by the little glands on the back of their head, which produce toxin. And there's a very interesting story from Germany, if you have time.
Yeah.
So in Germany, in this little village, they have a pond, and everybody every year used to love watching the toads migrate back to the pond where they would spawn. And it was a big event, and everybody, oh, the toads are coming, brilliant. But then one year, they noticed the toads were walking along and exploding. Guts everywhere. They couldn't figure out what was happening. So they contacted scientists, and the scientists set up a hide. And he noticed that the local population of corvids, which are the very clever magpies and crows, had figured out that you can't eat the toad from the back here because he's toxic. But if we flip him over and pull out his delicious liver, we can eat that and get away scot-free. Now, when a toad gets stressed, it defends itself by puffing itself up like a ball. When you puff yourself up like a ball after getting stressed by a crow who eats your liver...
I get accused of it a lot.
Yeah. When you puff yourself up and you have a hole where your liver used to be, you explode. And that was the case of the exploding toads of Germany. And it goes to show that if science hadn't been involved in that one, somebody would have been burnt at the stake for witchcraft. So it's a very, very funny story.
It's incredible. Have you seen my friend Judy Amadon here? Have you?
Fernando is a star of
Anybody
stage.
wants to have a pet of him later on, he'd be still knocking around.
Thank you. So there's one more. Fernando, I swear I saw him just say, don't.
Ow. So this is Vivian.
You'd stand towards the front.
Vivian is a chili rose tarantula, and she's actually 19 years old. So I have Vivian since she was a baby. She's been through me through marriage and moving out of home and kids, and she's a beautiful woman.
She actually, so full disclosure is that I did say to Colie earlier on, I feel that today has been an adventure and I should do something that I've never done and don't think I could do. And so I was going to offer to let Vivian go through my hand, and Colie went, mate, you'd better not.
Yeah.
So,
Vivian is quite...
what was you, rambunctious? Is that the
Yeah,
word?
she's-
But I will admire from here. She is absolute. Now we don't have these like in the forest out in Maynooth or anything, do
No,
we?
we don't. So this is from the
Would
high
she
deserts of
survive
Chile.
if she like? Could they survive in Ireland if they escaped your house?
No, so she's a very
Good.
specific temperature that she needs to live. So she's in a controlled environment. Somebody said to me, I was actually doing a podcast
Rachel,
festival
do
in
you want to
Cork,
come up
and
and
somebody
get a-
said, does she live in that Chinese takeaway box? But she doesn't live in that box. She lives in a very nice enclosure, which mimics her conditions
get
at
a
home.
nice close up there of her if you can.
And you can see on her backside here, she has a lovely hairy bum, and that is the primary defense mechanism for this animal. They don't bite before they flick hairs, and the hairs are microscopic like little fish hooks, and they get caught in your eyes and your throat, and it's really kind of irritating. And if that doesn't work, then they'll give you a nip. So I kind of know when she's not in a good mood.
Is she in a bad mood now?
She's in an okay mood.
Okay.
She's happy with me.
Collie, thank you for what you're doing on planet Earth.